Have you ever just stopped and thought about what an incredible piece of engineering your body is? I mean, it really is. Today, we're going to dive into one of its most amazing features, joint stability. That's the super complex system that, literally holds us all together.
Seriously, picture a major league pitcher winding up and launching a baseball at over 100 miles an hour. Why doesn't their arm just fly right off? It feels like it should. Well, the answer is this brilliant, delicate balancing act happening inside their shoulder. And it's all about joint stability.
So the whole thing is built on this one fundamental idea, a trade-off. See, every single joint in your body is constantly making a compromise between stability, that strength and security, and mobility, which is all about flexibility and range of motion. You just can't have 100% of both. It's this constant negotiation. And today, we're going to break down the 3 key factors that make it all possible.
Okay, first up, let's talk about what I'm calling the bone blueprint. This is ground zero. The very foundation of joint stability begins with the actual physical shape of your bones. Their architecture is what sets the rules for how a joint can move in the first place.
Now, to really get this, we have to know about articular surfaces. Don't let the fancy term fool you. It's just the name for the specific parts of the bones that actually touch each other inside a joint. And let me tell you, their shape and how they fit together is absolutely critical.
And this slide, this shows that trade-off perfectly. Just look at the shoulder on the left. The top of your arm bone is basically a golf ball sitting on a super shallow tee. This design is amazing, right? It gives you incredible mobility to throw a ball or grab something off the top shelf. But it's not very stable. Now, compare that to the hip on the right. That's more like a ball sitting deep inside a cup. The fit is snug and secure. This is fantastic for stability, for walking and supporting your whole body weight. But it also means you can't just swing your leg around your head the way you can with your arm. See the trade-off?
Okay, so building on that bone structure, we have our second factor, the ligament leash. The easiest way to think about these is like they're the body's own natural seatbelts, passively holding everything together.
So what are they exactly? Well, ligaments are these incredibly tough, fibrous bands, and their main job, their only job really, is to connect bone to another bone. They're like check reins that stop your joints from moving in weird ways they're not supposed to, ways that could cause a lot of damage.
And this leads to a really simple rule of thumb. The more ligaments a joint has, and the tighter they're wound, the more stable that joint is going to be. But, you guessed it, there's that trade-off again. More stability from those ligaments means you get less range of motion. It's a direct one-to-one relationship.
But of course, these leashes aren't made of steel. They have their limits. And this is something athletes know all too well. When you put repeated or just the wrong kind of stress on a joint, these ligaments can stretch out or even tear. That's exactly why ligament injuries are so common in sports. You're basically pushing that biological seatbelt right to its breaking point.
And that brings us to our third, and maybe the most dynamic factor, the muscle armor. So if bones are the blueprint and ligaments are the passive seatbelts, you can think of muscles as the active, living bodyguards that are on duty 24/7, protecting our joints.
The real secret weapon here is something called muscle tone. You see, even when you think you're totally relaxed, your muscles are in a state of slight, constant contraction. And that tone acts like a continuous hug for your joints, actively pulling the bones together and keeping everything nice and secure.
The absolute perfect example of this is the rotator cuff in your shoulder. Remember that wobbly golf ball on a tee we just talked about? Well, the rotator cuff is a team of 4 muscles that form a kind of living sling all around that joint. They are constantly working to keep the head of that arm bone pulled snugly into its shallow little socket. They provide the active stability that the bones just don't have on their own.
And believe me, you really notice when this muscle armor starts to get weak. A loss of muscle tone, maybe from a stroke or just from getting older, can be enough to let the shoulder literally pop out of its socket. Or think about the knee. If the muscles around it are out of balance, let's say your quads are way stronger than your hamstrings, it can actually pull the joint out of alignment, which leads to instability, injury, and a whole lot of chronic pain.
All right, so let's put all the pieces together. How does this all work in concert? Well, it's a true 3-part balancing act, with bones, ligaments, and muscles all working together as one amazing team.
So, to wrap our heads around it one more time, the bones give us the fundamental blueprint. The ligaments act as the passive leashes, and the muscles provide the active, dynamic armor. Each one has a critical job to do on the stability team. And this is the big idea. The main thing I want you to take away from all this, that trade-off we keep talking about, it's not a flaw in our design. It's the entire point. Each joint is intentionally, brilliantly engineered as a unique solution perfectly tailored for the specific job it needs to do, whether that's throwing a fastball or just carrying our body weight when we walk.
It's an absolutely brilliant system. And now that you get the basic principles of this constant, incredible balancing act, maybe the next time you move, you'll have a totally new appreciation for the engineering marvel that's happening inside you. So what part of your body's incredible design are you going to notice next?